Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Staples Center here in Los Angeles, California, USA, for a great night of boxing action. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing USA. We're sponsored by William Hill, Wow Hydrate, and JD Sports. This bout is sanctioned under the auspices of the California State Athletic Commission. The executive officer is Andy Foster. The chairman is John Carvelli. And the World Boxing Organization. The president, Francisco Paco Valcarcel. The supervisor is Gino Rodriguez. Introducing your three judges scoring this world title contest from ringside: Patricia Morse-Jarman, Dr. Lou Moret, and Robin Taylor. And at the sound of the bell, your third man in the ring, referee Ray Corona. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, the challenger. He fights out of the red corner. He stands with his head trainer, Ruben Paniagua. He wears the white with blue trim. He's scaled at the super middleweight limit of 168 pounds, bang on. He is undefeated in his campaign as a professional with a record of 28 wins, no losses, 1 draw. He's got 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando de Hijo de Quilmes, Buenos Aires, Argentina. Damas y caballeros, aquí tenemos el retador, Marcelo el Terrible Coceres. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, he is the defending world champion. He stands with his head trainer, Dominic Ingle. He wears the red, white, and blue trunks. He's scaled at already 167.4 pounds. His professional record, also a perfect one. 28 fights, no losses, 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Hatfield, London, England, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the former WBO middleweight and the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Billy Joe Saunders.
Fighters, 2 seconds. Productor, aquí está bien, right here is good. If you guys want to touch gloves, do it now. God's luck.
KSI, of course, is out of England, fights out of England. So too does Billy Joe Saunders. Hoping to get some of KSI's fans to start supporting him. Taking on Marcelo Coceres. The biggest fight of his life.
Ready?
He said the future of my 9 and 2-year-old daughters and my 7-year-old son hang in the balance here tonight. Marcelo wearing the light blue trunks, Billy Joe Saunders in America in the red, white, and blue.
You know, Coceres also making his U.S. debut. He's fought almost exclusively in South America. Watching some of his fights, he's got a good jab. He's just very flat-footed, so Saunders should have a real advantage on that angle.
And it's a single jab. He rarely doubles and triples it up or throws it to the body also. So you can tell it's coming, and it's at one speed all the time.
Sergio, a lot of new eyes tonight on the sport of boxing. We've got a right-hander versus a left-hander, or orthodox versus southpaw. Give us the pluses and minuses.
Coceres needs to throw the straight right hand. He needs to circle to his right, to the left of Billy Joe Saunders, and not ignore the body. You can also out-jab a jabber. Yeah, you wanna actually throw your jab over his jab. That annoys them. Coceres, I would focus on jabbing to the body to try to set up Saunders later with an overhand right, because he was hurt. Saunders was hurt in his last fight. I believe it was the 6th round versus Shafat Usufi.
Close enough.
He got hurt. It was an overhand right.
Can Coceres hurt Billy Joe? He has 15 KOs in his 28 wins. hasn't fought the caliber of competition, perhaps, that Saunders has. And there'll be a foot battle all night long, Chris. The right foot versus the left foot of Coceres.
Yeah, certainly a factor. These two guys engage. Saunders likes to fight from the outside, likes to get different angles and throw that jab out. He is one of the most prolific jabbers that you'll see in 160 to 168 pound division.
BJ Saunders has excellent ring generalship. That's one of the best things. Aside from the jab and footwork and defense, it's ring generalship. He likes to keep the fight in the middle of the ring, which is what you should do.
And look, he lost a lot of momentum, as we noted, after that fight against David Lemieux. He had just kind of gotten over levels of inactivity, even as a world champion. It looked like he might be in line for some significant fights. Then came that positive test, and everything kind of unraveled for him there. This is a big chance to regain some of that momentum tonight.
30 seconds to go here in round one, scheduled for 12. All championship fights are scheduled for 12 rounds. Tonight's main event between KSI and Logan Paul, scheduled for 6 rounds. Saunders has Coceres back to the corner. It's never a good place to be, and he caught him with a left hand.
One of the best punches that BJ Saunders throws is that sneaky left uppercut. He already landed it here. It's a devastating punch because opponents do not see it coming.
Listen to me, listen. This kid's scared to death of you, right? Just take your time, don't be tempted to rush in. Let him have 2 rounds first to see what he's got. Not him just drawing you in and having a punch up with him and him doing nothing, do you understand? Just keep it nice and relaxed with him. First 2 rounds, yeah? Alright? Don't be tempted to try and bang him. You will catch him, but just soften him up. He looks scared to death, but you never know. Alright? Okay? That's relaxed. Good. Water. Drink it, Bill. Drink it. Enough? Relax. Good.
Here we're going to see a crisp uppercut landed by BJ Saunders, but illegally holding Coceres' head with the right hand. The referee didn't warn him, so he got away with it. A clean left uppercut. See a lot of those punches by BJ Saunders tonight. The left uppercut is one of his money punches.
Round 2. Of course, a lot of you have heard of Tyson Fury, who just fought Deontay Wilder and Braun Strowman in the WWE. I mean, he's on a roll right now, everybody. But they train together, Billy Joe Saunders and Tyson Fury occasionally. In fact, the trainer for Tyson Fury also trains Billy Joe Saunders and Ben Davidson.
Excellent trainer, Ben Davidson. I just love the way he trains his fighters. He talks to them in the corner. He encourages them. He excites them when they need it. Just an excellent, great trainer. Coceres doing the right thing. He's countering really hard to Saunders, upstairs and downstairs. They're single punches, they're good shots.
Tonight in the corner, Dominic Ingle. So Ben Davidson sitting this one out, allowing Dominic Ingle to run the show for Saunders. He's off to a pretty good start here in the second round. That was a bit low.
And Billy Joe Saunders is the first to admit that he doesn't know what kind of fighter he is at 168 pounds yet. Just his second fight competing at that 168 pound limit. He said he needs to fight top level competition in order to really understand how effective he's going to be in this weight class.
Well, he told me that the biggest difference for him between 160 and 168 is when he's training for a fight at 160, he can't eat chocolate. And that makes him sad. Saunders has only 1 stoppage win since 2015. A little bit of a surprise. But he's pretty confident he can get one tonight. He says, even if I don't, I will entertain this crowd. I've got to capture America's attention. How does he do that, Sergio?
All with a knockout, but he's not a knockout puncher. He's a sneaky puncher. He's a crisp puncher. But he did tell us he's not going to let this crowd go home bored. He's a combination puncher, so that's where if he is going to stop an opponent, it's accumulation of punishment. He's an excellent body puncher. He throws uppercuts. Of course, his jab is excellent. But if he's going to stop the tough Coceres, it's by combinations.
I do think we saw in that first round, though, that left hand from Saunders coming from any angle is not something that Coceres is picking up right away. So I think that can be really effective as a power shot as this fight continues.
One thing about Coceres, he's a precise puncher. As we're seeing right here, he doesn't throw a volume of punches, but he's an accurate puncher.
Get a shot with the bell. La campana.
Really led to a stoppage. I think Devin Haney is the complete package as a fighter. He just needs those marquee opponents to showcase that talent against.
Still to come tonight, as is, of course, our main event, KSI and Logan Paul.
Saunders is more effective when he's moving his upper body, moving his feet, not staying in front of his opponent like this. So he needs to wake them feet up, start moving his head a little bit more. That's when he starts getting his opponents off guard. Coceres told us he wanted to mirror Saunders. I think he's doing a pretty good job mirroring him. By mirroring him, he says he wants to punch after BJ Saunders punches and try to throw the exact same punch that Saunders is throwing. It's an annoying thing to do, but it's working.
Coceres was first introduced to boxing by his father, Marcelo, who was a professional super middleweight as well. And he's told us that he's been teaching Coceres how to throw punches since he was just a baby. Before he could even stand up, he'd have those hands working back and forth. Now his son with a chance to win a world title under the bright lights. Jab from Billy Joe Saunders.
No, get off his head.
Billy Joe Saunders' case to fight Canelo largely rests on the fact that he has a legitimate 168-pound title, and Canelo does not. Will that be enough to entice Canelo?
Right. Sorry there, Chris.
We don't know.
Coceres landed that right hand, but he landed a good sneaky body shot before that right hand that made Billy Joe Saunders lower his left hand.
Make no doubt about it. The emphasis, the pressure tonight is all on Billy Joe Saunders, not only just to win and retain his title, but he's gone on record saying he wants this crowd to become fans of his. And most of the people in here, at least more than 50%, Chris, have probably never been to a live boxing event ever.
I think well over 50%.
They're not going to appreciate some of the things that a boxing connoisseur would appreciate. They're not going to like a defensive bout. They want to see big shots landing. They want to see a knockout.
Yeah, that's why it's an opportunity for Billy Joe Saunders, who doesn't fight in that particular slot, but he is going up an opponent that, despite some knockouts on his resume, from what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like he has the power to make any kind of significant impact on Saunders.
Every time Billy Joe Saunders punches, Coceres comes right back with a counter shot. That's exactly what his game plan and strategy was.
How do you feel? You feel good? You good? Both? The same front. After the uppercut, you can throw the right hand. Take your time. Okay? Think, use your head. Think. You feel good, right? You feel good. Move, and then uppercut.
Not bad. Again, southpaw, all that. So just take your time with you. You've got to get that jab working. Try not to be rolling too much in front of him, you understand?
Let's go.
Yeah, come on.
Buena pelea.
Round 4 scheduled for 12. Sergio, has Coceres done enough to win a round in your opinion?
Probably, yeah. I think he's in the fight. He's throwing the right fights. BJ Saunders, his glove touched the canvas right there. Usually, that would mean a knockdown if a punch was landed anywhere. Power jab by BJ Saunders right there.
Dominic Ingle, the trainer for Saunders, after round 1 said, feel him out for 2 rounds. You'll get him eventually. You think he's going to step on the gas now, Chris?
There's been no history of it in Billy Joe Saunders' career. And let's be real. He has fought some good opponents, Lemieux being the best of them, but he doesn't go out there and seek knockouts in these types of fights. He is an excellent technical boxer, but not a prolific power puncher. He is accurate with his punches. You could see a cut forming or some kind of wear down of Coceres in a fight like this, but the big shot, history suggests they haven't been easy to come by.
So a TKO, yes. A KO, probably not, according to Chris Mannix.
A decision, most likely.
And here's Chris Mannix's scorecard. And Mannix has it 3 rounds to nothing for Saunders.
I thought the 3rd round was close. Coceres landed some shots. See a low blow there from Saunders to Coceres.
When it's a yellow round, as you can see, whoa, hold on, BJ. Got to go to the neutral corner.
Hey, I told you to wait. One more time, I could disqualify you, but stay there. I'm going to take an evaluation.
Let's bring in Steve Smoger, our Hall of Fame referee. What's going on here, Steve?
Ray Corona is asking the doctor to come in to see if the opponent, Coceres, is all right to continue. Apparently, he indicated he is.
All the way back. Time in!
So they'll pick up where they left off. Saunders going with the left hand to the body.
They both are concentrating on the body. Very smart with both boxers. Very similar punches being thrown, and they're similar even in size. I thought Coceres was going to be a little shorter. It indicates that he's 5'9" to Saunders 5'11", but they look average in height and reach. They're both 28-0. They're both undefeated. It's a pretty even fight, even though BJ Saunders might be winning the rounds.
Clash heads there on the inside. Triple jab from BJ Saunders.
That's what I want to see from BJ Saunders. Just double and triple up the jabs. Get the angle. You're the southpaw. You're the left-hander. Start using the left-handed angles. If you're just standing in front of your man, then you have no advantage as being a lefty.
That'll do it for round 3. Sit down. Good. Come in. Time. Come on. Good. Big breathe. Big deep breath. Big deep breath. Just relax. Listen. Big game this kid. Slowing down a little bit. Do you understand? Big breathe. Deep breathe. Big deep breaths. Big deep breaths and relax. Every time you need to move something hard, he starts looking for weight and then he fires back. And you've got to keep him close to rope. Don't fight him in the middle. Listening. Don't fight him in the middle. I know he's tall and lanky, but just start putting your fence out to him, tapping down and stepping outside and hitting him. You've got to jab, you've got to get break you down a bit. Just stick to him. Like a man, that's all. Yeah. Alright, you'll get this kid, don't worry.
Take your time. Just the pressure a little more. Okay. Don't respect him. Go for it. Don't respect him. Go, go, go.
Every round that ends, we get closer to tonight's main event, KSI and Logan Paul. Everyone on this broadcast has gone on record on who they think is going to win. A good friend of mine named Cole Kilberry, who lives in Colorado, said to ask Chris Mannix. He's the only guy we haven't heard from. Who do you think is going to win the main event tonight?
I have absolutely no idea.
That's why you have so many fans. Sorry, Cole. Round 5 of 12. Oh, there's a nice right hand for Saunders. That's Coceres who's trying to come in on the inside.
Interesting advice from Coceres' corner between rounds. Said, don't respect it. Go right at him. So clearly, they don't believe the power of Billy Joe Saunders is enough to hurt Coceres either.
Easier said than done when you have a popping jab right in your face. And right now, Saunders, that's the best punch that he's been landing, doubling, tripling it up.
And as we've shown Chris Mannix's scorecard tonight, every once in a while you'll highlight a specific round in yellow. Why are you doing that now?
Well, if you look at some of those rounds that are close, potential swing rounds that you could see maybe going either way, shading it one way or the other, swing rounds are kind of what we shade yellow.
You got that idea from Bill Simmons?
Bill Simmons. Good idea. One of many.
In close rounds, the jab's going to be the difference. So whoever throws more jabs, which is going to be Saunders, if he's going to throw more jabs, he can be the prolific jabber. He's going to steal or sway those rounds more.
And you saw Sergio with those punch stats. Coceres is throwing the higher volume of punches, but you see big shots there.
1, 2, and 3 for Saunders. Probably the best sequence for him this fight. And maybe he is stepping on the gas pedal here in round 5.
Well, he has to step on the gas because his trainer Ingle wants him to back up Coceres. It's easier said than done. Coceres is tough. He has heavy feet, but it looks like he has some pretty heavy hands as well.
So Coceres has never fought outside of South America. 28 of his bouts have taken place in his home country of Argentina and 1 in neighboring Uruguay.
And he's never faced the opposition that Billy Joe Saunders has faced as well. Coceres' last opponent is 7-5-5.
To finish that earlier thought, Todd, the volume punching goes to Coceres, but as you watch ringside, more accurate punches, they largely go to Billy Joe Saunders.
Right, go in slow, go on lion. Right, deep breath. Right. Listen, this kid's getting confident there. Do you understand? You've got to keep it on ropes. You're just letting him box a little bit too much and dummy a little bit more. Just try and tap and come outside of him. I know it's hard. Understand? Give it that in swell, quick. But you've got to slow it down and be short with your jab.
Well, it is the City of Angels. And we enter round 6 here between Billy Joe Saunders in the red, white, and blue taking on Argentina's Marcelo Coceres. Is this more competitive than you thought it would be?
A little bit more competitive. I looked at the opponents Coceres had faced and didn't think too much of him. At the same time, we don't know what to make of Billy Joe Saunders as a super middleweight. I think he'd be the first to admit he's more effective at 160 pounds. Had an opportunity to fight at 168 for a world title, took advantage of it, but you know, I hate to use the Lemieux fight as the bar for everything, but that was his most effective fight. I saw a guy that's much lighter on his feet in that fight than the one we're seeing tonight.
I'm more impressed with Coceres. I expected BJ Saunders to start really fast and try to get the impressive win that he wants. This is an audition for Canelo and Triple G, and he's first time fighting across the pond in the States. We know who's faced the better opposition. That's Billy Joe Saunders. He's the champion. He's the Olympian. He's faced guys, Chris Eubanks, David Lemieux. He's fought good fighters. You look on the other side, Coceres hasn't really fought quality and championship opposition. So I'm surprised Coceres is really in this fight.
Well, he's in the fight, Sergio, but at this stage, how does he win it?
He's probably looking to hurt BJ Saunders, and this is the round that he was hurt the last time. Like I said, with Isufi, he got hit with the 6th round, but Saunders was opening up a lot more, throwing combination. He was really landing a whole lot more with Isufi than he is with Coceres. Coceres is actually punching in between the shots, which makes it hard for Billy Joe Saunders to get more than 1 or 2 punches in.
Chris Mannix gave the last round to Coceres. What was it about that round you liked?
I thought he was a little more active and a little more accurate, especially in the early to middle parts of that round. Saunders landed a couple of good combinations towards the end, but close round, gave it to Coceres. One of the reasons not to fully respect Coceres coming into a fight like this is that he's basically a career middleweight. Briefly fought above 160 pounds, but this is not a guy used to this particular weight limit, so that was another advantage for Billy Joe Saunders.
I really like those right hands he's throwing right at Saunders. Those shots right there, 3, 4, 5 in a row. Straight right hands. That's going to set up the over-the-top shots. It's time for Billy Joe to get, there it is right there, that right hand. That got set up by 4 or 5 straight right hands that he caught Saunders against the ropes.
So Coceres perhaps starting to find his groove, find his rhythm here in the middle rounds.
La campana of the bell, gentlemen.
Oh, a couple right hands for the Argentinian.
Now listen to me. Listen, yeah. This kid is tired. You see the way he's breathing every day, he's tired. You understand? You can see it. No, listen. Keep it. Listen. This kid's working to the last minute, right? He's tired because I can see him doing heavy breathing. When he's showing that's desperation, you've just got to do a little bit more work in between his shots. You're looking a lot more relaxed than him. You're just like, you're tired, he's knackered. And he's breathing, he's letting it out heavy. So just chill and be short with your shots, ones and twos. Just don't let him out work. When he's at the burst, you've got to come back with something, yeah? Walter, come on. Halfway through, Bill, there. Halfway through. Plenty of fast things. All right, perfect. All right. Come on. Leave your bucket. Okay.
Our roving reporter, Lauren Gardner, on the scene. What do you got for us, Lauren?
Yeah, Todd, the tone has definitely grown more serious there in Saunders' corner, but the key message here throughout these rounds is to back him off with the jab. That's really been the consistent message, but eventually he's going to have to turn that corner and become more aggressive.
Yeah, to Lauren's point, you watched in the last minute of that round, the jab that Billy Joe Saunders so effective at kind of disappeared. That allowed Coceres to get inside, throw punches, and be effective.
Well, his trainer was trying to whisper it to him, but I could pick up him telling Saunders, he goes, listen, Coceres is tired. You need to just chill, give him ones and twos.
I don't think Coceres looks tired to me. I think his confidence is building, his swagger is building. He had the best round of the fight in the last 6th round. I just think Billy Joe Saunders is missing the upper body movement. That's what I see lacking from him. And everything comes from rhythm with a fighter like Saunders, with a strict boxer. He's a matador. He uses his feet, his upper body to get his opponents to make mistakes, and he's not doing that.
Well, Sergio, it's not unprecedented to see Saunders kind of look lackluster in the middle rounds. Go back to his fight against Artur Akabov in 2016. He looked like he fell asleep at times during that fight. Made that fight a lot closer than it probably should have been on the scorecards.
To me, I'm seeing a more flat-footed Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, he still has the jab, but he's not doing it with swift feet and upper body movement.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, this is what I was talking about with the comparison to what we saw against David Lemieux. He's a far more active guy. He made David Lemieux miss wildly at times in that fight.
Good left hand there for Saunders. Keep in mind, Saunders put the onus on him. He raised the bar. He raised the level of what was expected of him tonight. He said, listen, let's say there's 1 million people watching tonight. I want to capture 10% of those fans. I want to be so exciting that 100,000 new fans come to my corner and start supporting me. Is this the kind of performance that's going to get those fans supporting him, Sergio?
Well, halfway through, I haven't seen it yet. He's winning the fight, but Coceres, he's game. He's in this fight, and he's landing the right shots, especially in the inside with the body shots like he just did right there. You got to give Coceres his respect. He's an undefeated fighter here too, with a chance of a lifetime, fighting for a world title here.
Yeah, Saunders didn't make much of his opponent. Coceres didn't really have too many kind words to say about him. Didn't seem to be too concerned that this would be a bad night for him, and it may not be. Mannix, your scorecard is a little bit closer, but we've seen the past. Twitter's going to lamp blast you no matter what numbers you type on the screen. It's become one of my favorite things to watch every week after fights.
Boxing Twitter, Lakers fans, and Knicks fans, my best friends.
Another good round for Coceres.
Y después el crow, Maxi, porque viste se come la derecha.
Drop the hooks, don't forget about it. Drop the hooks.
Mira para otro lado, Si es posible, pegale vos.
Sos más que él, boludo, dale.
Maxi.
Dale que se nos va.
Sí, somos Maxi.
You can do it, go.
8 scheduled for 12 championship rounds. Billy Joe Saunders in control for the first few rounds, but Marcelo Coceres has certainly tightened things up, at least according to our own Chris Mannix. Sergio, in your fighting career, was there ever a time where you tried too hard to please too many people, to excite too much?
Yeah, it happened right here at the Staples Center when I fought Peter Manfred on the rematch. The first time I fought him was at Caesar's Palace. I won convincingly. It was a great fight. Then I wanted to repeat that fight again, and I did it here in my hometown, and I barely squeaked out a decision. I was cut in both hands. I was hurt. It was just almost a disaster.
He's coming back out of semi-retirement. How about a third and final fight with Peter Manfredo, Sergio?
Stop. Leave the promotion to Chris Mannix, please.
Stop. You're the one tweeting about it.
Stop! Take a step backwards, boss.
Jabs can always tell the story of a fight. You just saw that graphic on your screen. It's the foundation of almost every fight.
Stop! Take a step back.
I think Coceres is fighting more like Billy Joe Saunders than Saunders is right now. He's moving, he's not staying on the ropes, he's sticking and moving and jabbing, countering, nice body shots.
Well, he said he was going to mirror Billy Joe Saunders.
That was my point. He's doing a great job mirroring him, but I don't think he's really mirroring Saunders. I mean, he's mirroring him, but he's fighting his fight. Coceres is doing what he said he was going to do. And that's following a game plan. That's following his strategy, and I'm really impressed by that.
Saunders keeping Coceres away with a jab, and 65% of the fight has been spent at distance.
Now, that's a hallmark of the Billy Joe Saunders fight.
Counter shot there for Coceres.
Anytime Saunders opens up with anything, Coceres comes right back. Crisp and accurate, which is what exactly he said. That's how he punches.
Well, Sergio, you said at the top of the fight that Coceres was known for throwing only one jab. There have been flurries for Billy Joe Saunders, who's thrown 2 and 3 jabs, but primarily he has been one and done with that jab for most of this fight.
Yeah, he has.
Step back.
I would love to see Coceres, of course, throw that jab to the body of Saunders as well. Stabbing him downstairs, stopping that movement. See, Saunders is starting to move around the perimeter of the ring. A jab downstairs or to the chest will stop that.
You're gonna stop with the bell. La campana. Time.
You need to win all these rounds, you understand? You need to win them. You need to win these rounds, right? You've got to put some pressure on this kid because you hit him with good shots, you got him off the backhand and then stood looking at him. Wait a minute, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. Deep breathe, deep breathe, deep breathe, deep breathe, deep breathe. Big, deep breath.
Here's a really clean left hand that Coceres took. Saunders landed right on the chin right there. Coceres took it nicely, but he does not want to get hit with those shots right there. And if Billy Joe Saunders could continue fighting and throwing that left hand behind the jab, that's going to be good news for him.
Billy Joe Saunders with a very interesting upbringing. He comes from a gypsy lifestyle, or the traveler's lifestyle, over in England. He said his experience growing up is that he literally had to fight for everything he had. They would release all the children from his traveling group out of school early so they could go work. He's been working with his hands since he was a small child, and he's still doing that to this day. Of course, getting paid a little bit better now. As we look at Chris Mannix's scorecard, 77-75. So Coceres, according to you, Chris, can still win this on points.
And more importantly, at this stage of the fight, as we get closer to the championship rounds, Coceres looks like the fresher fighter right now. Billy Joe Saunders, the more natural 168-pounder, but if you're looking at these two guys and their body language, Coceres just looks better.
I'm not scoring the fight, but I agree with those scorecards. I think Coceres is no more than 2 rounds behind, if he's behind, but he does look like the fresher fighter, more confident as far as the body language goes. This is going to be a very telling round for Saunders. He needs to get the respect going into the 10th and 11th round.
And I wonder if you're in Coceres' corner, Sergio, do you recognize exactly where you are in this fight, exactly what's on the line? I mean, you know, Canelo Alvarez is not fighting Coceres if he wins this fight, but there are millions on the line if he wins in a potential matchup with, say, Callum Smith, a rematch with Saunders, Daniel Jacobs, who is now moving to 168 pounds. The stakes couldn't be higher for Coceres.
That's exactly what happens when you start looking ahead. Good uppercut right there by Coceres. You start looking ahead and forget about the person in front of you, but this is a championship fight. You don't get that $10 million fight if you don't beat this fighter in front of you.
Saunders' corner just told him that he needs to win these final 4 rounds. So an SOS has been sent out, and a lot of times trainers will tell their fighters that, Sergio. They believe that their man has to step it up.
I agree. I definitely agree with Dominic Inigo. He needs to get respect. It feels like the respect's never there. He tried in the early rounds, but Coceres kept coming back with its own. It's a close fight.
Chris, you talk about Canelo perhaps fighting BJ Saunders next. Even if he wins this fight, though, is this the kind of performance that's going to have fans clamoring to see Canelo and Saunders?
No, not right now. We'll see how Billy Joe Saunders finished. Nice flirt in the corner, landed some shots on Coceres, but it's certainly not the type of performance that makes people want to see a 168-pound title fight between Canelo and Saunders.
This is what happens when you move up in weight. I mean, I haven't seen the nifty, the swift feet from BJ Saunders. I haven't seen the upper body movement, the nice doubling and tripling up the jabs, the confidence, the swagger that we're used to seeing from this British matador. We've seen more swag come out of Marcelo Coceres in this fight so far.
Coceres throwing that 1-2. Maybe final salvo here as we come to the end of round number 9.
Girando.
Vamos a comerlo vivo este.
Claro, como es.
Move. And then try the uppercut.
Está bien. Voy con inteligencia. Es un título del mundo esto.
Remember, it's
Cuando va,
Don't forget about it.
Claro, cuando viste que va para
Some
atrás.
more punches and then go back and then
No va para atrás para volver.
turn.
Va para atrás para defenderse. Nomás viste que me hicimos otro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Apretarlo así, pero por sorpresa.
Oh, you can. Come on. Come shield, Barry. Come shield. You can. Come on.
10th round, huh? 10th round. Buena pelea. Awesome fight, guys. Buena pelea.
Round 10 scheduled for 12. It hasn't exactly been the most exciting fight, but it has been a close one. As the fight card, according to Mannix, continues to get closer and closer. Saunders ahead by just 1 round.
I would love to see more foot feints by BJ Saunders. Anytime you're dealing with a fighter that's countering so effectively and mirroring your style, it's the foot feints that are going to get him to show you his cards. That's when you come back and let loose of your jabs and your combinations and back up your man when you catch him off guard.
So much on the line here tonight for Billy Joe Saunders. Obviously his world title first and foremost, but big money fights down the line. These next 8 minutes could really determine his career, his financial future. Because a loss to Marcelo Coceres puts him right at the back of the line. Coceres has never been beaten. He does have 1 draw, and it came in just his 2nd fight when he was knocked down in the 1st round. And then, as a 21-year-old, battled back to salvage a draw over 4 rounds. Which is tough to do because the 1st round was a 10-8, so he had to come back and win pretty much the remaining 3.
I asked Coceres if fighting a southpaw was going to be a problem for him. He says, no, there's 2 southpaws in my gym. We spar often. I've already faced 2 southpaws as a professional. It's not a big deal, and it's showing. this is not what Billy Joe Saunders wanted out of this LA Staples Center crowd. He did not want the boobers to start coming out.
It looks like Saunders, instead of just leading with that jab, is just trying to either time something from Coceres or land something big of his own. When Saunders at his best, he's throwing 2, 3, 4 jabs out there and following it up with some kind of punch. We're not seeing that.
And that's frustration, Chris. That's frustration because Coceres keeps punching in between the shots. The only way to get rid of it is by foot feints and jabbing. Let your man fall off balance, then you can counter with the shots that you were intending to land, the combinations. But you have to bite. You have to go tit for tat with jabs and feints.
Take a step back, both of you.
So both men fighting in the United States for the first time in their career. And a nice shot there, an uppercut with the right hand for Coceres.
Because Saunders telegraphed that jab. He put everything behind it. He put his whole feet behind it. And Coceres was able to counter him really easily there.
La campana. You're going to stop at the bell, gentlemen.
Is Coceres about to send shockwaves for the super middleweight division?
Estamos comiendo, Marce.
Great round. Great round.
Ahora sí, vives, a ver.
Now, go. Now is the time. Upper.
Es inofensivo ahora. Lo que tenemos que comer crudo.
Vamos, Marce.
No offense. Go forward. Go forward.
Viste cómo agarró la gente chifla él, La gente lo está chiflando,
Look at it, Red.
Vamos, Marce, que estamos a dos rounds del título, Marce.
You're doing really good.
Vamos. Vamos, Marce.
Doing really good. Let's go.
Vamos, Marce.
Yeah, water, Barry. Come on, give me that water. Mouthpiece, Barry. It's in, all right, here we go.
Concern in the corner for Billy Joe Saunders, while Coceres is kissing anyone and everyone in sight. He thinks he's going to win this. Here are the championship rounds. 6 minutes to go as the WBO Super Middleweight Championship is on the line. It's all square according to Chris Mannix, 95-95.
And if you look across the ring at Saunders' promoter, Eddie Hearn, who's right across from us, you can see the concern on his face. Billy Joe Saunders is being lined up for something significant in 2020. This would really put a cramp in that.
We don't have the official odds of this fight, but I would have guessed it would at least have been 15 or 20 to 1 in favor of the man from England. Was that a knockdown? It was, and that changes the entire discussion about this fight.
Wow, he came from an angle. He finally didn't fight in front of Coceres. He got the angle and was able to get the right hook in.
He went from delivering kisses in his corner to almost kissing this world opportunity goodbye.
And Coceres, that was a smart move by him, Sergio. He stood up immediately and then realized he didn't have his legs and went right back down to regain them.
He got caught off guard with a right hook, which is another sneaky punch by Billy Joe Saunders.
Saunders completely changing the narrative of this fight with one punch. Cut him to the left, another clubbing left, and a third. And now Coceres in real trouble. And now it's become a slugfest. What an uppercut! It almost erased Coceres from the ring.
5, 6, 7. Stay there. Camina aquí. ¿Quieres caminar? ¿Quieres? Manos arriba. ¿Estás bien?
Billy Joe Saunders reborn here in round 11.
Let's go.
Just when we were showing concern, he shows the championship heart.
Get off his head.
And he's down for a third time. And they'll wave it off. Billy Joe Saunders. How did he do it? Where did it come from? A knockout win as he defends his WBO Super Middleweight Championship.
Behind on the cards, presumably the champion comes through in the championship rounds. Unbelievable.
Incredible. Where was that for the first 10 rounds?
It was the angle. He finally used that left-handed angle. He took a step to his right, caught Coceres with a right hook, I believe, and a sneaky left uppercut. Those shots Coceres did not see coming, and that's the reason he was so hurt.
And it may have been a $10 million round. It could have earned him that shot against Canelo that he so desperately wants. No one will talk about the first 10 rounds, Sergio, or at least not that much. They'll focus on what he was able to do when the championship rounds began.
This is the beauty of boxing. We knew who the champion is here. He's been to the championship fight, Billy Joe Saunders has, and he closed the deal. He sealed his fate. Now he gets the big fights. Is Canelo next? Is Golovkin next? Is Andre next?
He wanted to capture America's attention. Did he do it? If you only turn this fight on in round 11, he certainly did.
Here we're going to see the first knockdown. The uppercut that Billy Joe Saunders is famous and known for, and then he came around with the left hand. It was two left hands, a left uppercut and a left right hook from a southpaw angle.
And look at this uppercut, my word.
Another look at this right uppercut and boom! Right on the chin, down goes Coceres. And we can see in the background, David Diamante oohing and ahhing as well.
The ring announcer. It's always fun to watch the people in the crowd's reaction. And this came out of nowhere. No one arguing with this stoppage. 3 knockdowns in a round. Billy Joe Saunders, KO number 14, win number 29. Looking forward to this post-fight interview from Billy Joe Saunders. It will certainly be entertaining. Here's David Diamante to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Ray Corona calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 1 minute and 59 seconds of round number 11. Your winner by knockout. He's still undefeated and still the WBO super middleweight champion of the world.